Hey, what's up guys? This is TBone here, and so today I'm going to do something a little bit different than I normally do on the Thursday streams. Today I'm just going to go over the various decks I've built for this particular event. I'm going to play through each of them. I'm going to show how it works. I'll talk about the main event deck and also like the various cards that it can mix with. And we're going to try out various decks here. Full disclosure, I have not gotten my overkill boss or ultra kill boss to 300 just yet. And from what I've heard, it's pretty much impossible to go to 500%. And that's what I've heard. But, you know, we could give it a try just to kind of understand how it might work out. But mostly I'm going to probably focus on the guild medium boss because it has the most health. And I could use the keys to kind of show you how it works. So I'm going to start by showing you the various teams I've built so far. And so I have one that uses, you know, the ultimate form. So you know that I got the ultimate form, and I actually managed to get the shiny Master Collection card because I pulled the exact right card from the collection. So I got Kindercraft from the Proving Ground store. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how you would play this full deck, right? And so this is not the full deck here. This actually contains another card, which I will be showcasing as well, the Freedom Fighters. But this one is the, where's the full deck here? Let me take a look and see if I have one that is actually the full deck. Let me actually change this out so that it actually has the full deck, and then we'll swap it out. So what I wanted to do is sort of show you, I have just one ultra rare card. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I have that variation already. Give me 1 second. I'm going to start by showing you sort of like one of the things that you could do for your medium bosses, for example. And this actually uses 2 support cards instead of 1. And this also uses 2 Master Collection cards, 1 Ultimate Form, 1 Ultra Rare. And we're going to showcase it with 2 support card, 1 support card, 1 ultra rare card to start. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. And the reason I wanted to showcase this is because support card actually has a place in this deck actually. So it's actually a little bit better than you might imagine. And so it's in terms of relics, I'm using the two immortal relics, and then other sort of commander relics that I have at my disposal. And I also have a dark Almar's Sight. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by jumping into a medium guild boss here, and we're going to use, let's start with this one. So this is a full event deck, okay? So this is the full deck, and we're going to talk about the correct activation order. And the way to play this deck is actually that, you know, you want to make sure that you're constantly activating your ultra rare card whenever you can, and only activate your Master Collection card once the passive abilities actually activate. And what I would recommend is, just to make it so that you don't forget, simply activate your ultra rare card and your support card immediately, because with this team you're not going to lose a lot of health, and this is going to last 3 turns. So you can see there's a number countdown here, so it's 3 right now. And then when it goes down to 1 is when your passive abilities for your Master Collection card, actually when it goes down to 2 is when the Master Collection cards is going to activate. So right now what we're doing here is we're actually, you know, you can see here we get 3.9 for my 3.9 for my ultimate form, and also 3.9 for for the shiny Master Collection card, and that's fine, right? So we can deal some good damage here. And the goal here is we're also going to try to build our intensity up to 200. So as soon as we build the intensity of 200, you're actually going to see our damage increase, because at this point our support card can also contribute to their supercharge. So you can see over on the right, this is where the supercharge status is located, and right now we have 1 from the ultra rare. And so I just have 1 ultra rare and with this 1 pink star, 1 Master Collection card, but I do have 2 Master Collection cards, so I'm using it to my advantage here. And so we're at 200 Immortal Killer Intensity right now. And right after this, we're going to see how much damage we can make. And I actually didn't activate here, so we can sort of see the damage differential. Okay. And so you can see that the damage isn't quite too different, because at some point, basically, your number of power gems, power gem 4, like it's not going to change too much if you've already filled up the board. All right. So we're at 240 intensity at this point. So we're going to go and see how much damage we can deal after this. We're going to get hit, and then we're going to have two two charges of supercharge. Okay, so 2 of those. And now we're going to activate everything and see how much damage this actually deals. We'll take a look at the ultimate form, right? So the ultimate form now jumps up to 6.4, basically doubles in damage, all right? And so what you can do here is with this setup, you can basically just kind of rinse and repeat. And if you do it a little bit faster, then you can constantly activate. And then basically you can also tell when your support card and ultra rare card is about to activate, because the chevron number is going to go down to 1, all right? And so you can use that as a way to basically sort of keep count of when it's supposed to come, and use the shields to your advantage. Basically, you can constantly deal this much damage every 3 turns. If you basically are fast, you should be able to get lots of damage this way. So I'm hoping that I can do 2 more hits in the next 2 seconds or so. And so this way we can probably take this down. I'm expecting I should be able to take this down with this next couple of hits. So we're going to go ahead and activate everything, and then right, use the shield as much as you can, because it's going to help you stop the clock. And I think just 1 more hit. Yeah, so just 1 more hit and we'll be good. I just need to go ahead and do a quick match here. Lost a little bit of time there, but I think we should be okay. I just need to do 2 more quick matches. We'll go ahead and activate here. Okay, so with 0.42 seconds, we're good here. And then we're going to activate the Master Collection cards plus the Ultimate Form, and we're going to be able to take the boss out. So this was approximately, this was like about what, 60 trillion or so. And so you can see that with this setup, it's pretty easy to get to. We can actually do more if I were a little bit faster. All right. So this is how you would activate the cards. This is basically if you don't use anything else and you just if you just use the event cards with bare minimum stuff. I don't actually have multiple ultra rare cards. It would actually help more, but even just the support card can jump into the fray and really help out a lot. All right. And so now I'm seeing more people in here. So just saying hi to the chat here. Got Chimiol, Ita Wong, Catherine, Justinina Rockdeed, and also Aaron, Adrian, 23andra, the Kit, Lena, Sandra, and Phantom Sky. So thanks for joining me here. So this is the first team I wanted to show. And Phantom Sky, you've been present playing multiple games. Yeah, I do enjoy playing the games. All right, and we looks like we actually missed out on the Shroud. So we're going to go up against a level 287 medium guild boss now, 677 trillion health. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a team that uses the following setup. So I'm using the Ultimate Form, the ultra rare card, and also a copy of the Freedom Fighters. But instead of having 2 Master Collection cards, I actually am going to put in a support card. So the reason I'm going to do this is because when you put in a support card, you're actually doubling your damage. And the support card, by putting in a support card, you're losing 3 commander bonus, and you're losing 10 total power gen 4. So it is a little bit of a trade-off here, but your your copy of Freedom Fighters, if you have one, can actually benefit from the leader skill of this event team, and it also deals 5 times damage. And so relics wise, I just want to make sure that I have the right team here. So relics wise, we need to make sure that we have the right relics though. So we do have a relic here that boosts so we have 2 relics here that boost commander. I generally always say, hey guys, don't mix your commander and your slayer relics. But in this case, if you want to give your Freedom Fighters a little bit more boost for your damage, then putting in the relic that gives them that boost will be good. And so I think we're good here. Let's go and try this team out. I just want to make sure that I am set up correctly so that I am. There you go. I want to make this. I want to make sure that my activation order is going to be from right to left. So let's go back to the medium boss now. Let's put in another 3 key attack. So Judge of All and Isaac, welcome here, and Angel at 111. All right, so very similar playstyle actually with this deck. So it basically plays exactly the same, because what's really nice about Freedom Fighters is that it has a 2-turn cooldown. And given the health that we have with almost 2 million, we're not really worried about health actually. Okay, and so I'm going to show you how much damage it deals with just 1 activation of the ultra rare card with Freedom Fighter in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate everything. You can sort of see, like, we still fill out the board just fine, and we actually have a little bit of power gems that we didn't match, and we have 2.4 trillion for Freedom Fighter there. That turns out that basically becomes over 10 trillion damage because of the 5 times damage boost. In fact, it's about 12.5 trillion just from the one card. All right, and so we're going to activate it again, and actually we're not going to activate now. We sort of missed out on the activation, so we're going to activate afterwards because I was talking here. But so the passive just activated, so we're going to go ahead and activate the support card and the ultra rare card. And remember, we want to get to 200 as well. And so we're going to wait one more turn, and then the passive ability is going to activate. And when it activates, that's when we will activate everything else. All right. And really, the most important thing here is clock management. You really want to manage your clock well. And so let's go ahead and activate everything again. Like, if nothing else, make sure that you activate Freedom Fighters, because that's when you're going to get the damage boost. So we're actually at now we're at intensity 200. So again, 2.6 trillion. We did a little bit better because we matched a little bit better. And what we're going to do is we're going to now sort of see how much damage we will be able to do with 2 stacks of supercharge. So now we're over 200 intensity, 2 charges. You should expect to see the damage about double. All right. And so in just about one more turn or 2 more turns here, we're going to be activating everything. All right. So we're going to go ahead and activate everything here. And now pay attention to the Freedom Fighter and see how much damage we can deal here. And so it jumps up to 4.3. So this is now dealing over 20 trillion per hit, and we can do this every 3 turns. All right. So this is the power of mixing this this deck with something like a Freedom Fighter card. So like the nuke is insane. All right. So you take advantage of the nuke, and you can actually deal pretty good damage if you were if you continue to do this fast. So I think I was using this, and I managed to get. I was doing this fast too, and I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this as well as I did earlier, but I was getting somewhere around 400 or 500 trillion or so with this deck, with this setup. And so, if you can basically continue to get the cycle going, then you can actually get a lot of damage in there, right? So, and then once you get 300 intensity for the Slayer intensity, this is also where you start getting the ultimate gem. So I think with the ultimate gem in there, the best I was getting was somewhere around over 8 trillion per card, and it was just lots and lots of damage, and that's when I was able to get over 400 or 500 or so. I'm gonna try and get to the 300 intensity if I could. I just need to make sure that I'm doing this a little quicker. So I'm not really looking at the screen, so sorry about that. I'm gonna pay attention to this so I can try and get to the 300 intensity, so I can show you what it's like with the ultimate gem. And if you're lucky, if you play your gems well, you can actually get to 2 commander. You can actually get 2 ultimate gems. You can actually sometimes match them together, so for additional damage there. But you can sort of see we're actually doing well here in terms of damage output, right? So we're at, I think we started at 600 something, 700. So we're just about like 200 or so over, right? Okay, so this is probably going to be the last activation. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get to the 300. I just wasn't fast enough this time. But let's see how much damage we can deal overall, and it'd be really impressive if I can actually. Oh, okay, I couldn't. I was trying to get to the last one before the time's out, but generally we're getting close to 20 trillion per hit just with Freedom Fighters, and so this card actually is very good to use. If you have it, use it. Let's see how much we did there. So 258. Okay, but you could easily do a lot more there. And Amal, you only has 2 support card and 1 event card, can't deal damage, Ultra Boss. So if you have just the Ultra support cards, I also have other deck options that you can think about. So here is one that where is it? So here's one that uses 2 support cards and an event card, and and I'm also using 2 Korrinas. So Korrina has this ability that casts what you call what is it called? Showtime. Okay, so Showtime is kind of like the Grail mechanic, where you basically continue to add on stacks, and then at the end of it, you can actually create up to 20 Power Gem Force from support card. Okay, And so you want to make sure to take advantage of this. If you don't have any other cards that generate power gems, this is going to give you that ability. So Richard Britton, that's what it says. It says that the supercharge doesn't stack, but you saw the difference it made with 1 versus 2. I've tried this out a lot. I tried it with just one supercharge and 2 supercharge, and I am noticing the damage being increased. Okay, so whether that's intended or not, I don't know, but that's just currently how the deck is behaving. So West Wolf, welcome to the stream here. And so Korrina is the key here. And another thing that you want to really pay attention to is if you're going to be mixing Generation 3 and a post-Generation 3 deck like this one, you have to make sure that you put Korrina or any other cards as the leader here. You're going to lose a little bit of health, but if you don't, you're effectively losing your power gem, your damage output from your cards. And this is especially going to be true for some of the other decks that we're going to talk about. So let's go with this one. And in terms of relics, it's pretty simple. Just use whatever relics boost the cards here. I have 2 relics that boost Mystic cards, and then I also have another ultimate relic just from another one. Even though it doesn't boost it, it's still a ultimate relic, so I'm using that. So let's go ahead and see now how much damage we can deal. So we dealt about 258. Boss health is at about 418. So let's go ahead and change this up, and then I'll show you how to use this style of deck now. So this one, when I last tested out, I got about 50 trillion with this deck. Okay, and keep in mind that this is with just support cards and 1 event card, and so it's not really something that I feel is, I don't feel bad about it. And again, the thing that you want to do is, you want this one. With this one, what you can do is you can actually alternate. You can alternate your, you can stagger when you use your support card. If you find that heal is an issue, like, health becomes an issue because a boss deals too much damage, etc. You can actually just kind of, you can just basically stagger it. And with 2 cards in here, you're going to always have 1 turn where you're going to get hit, but it's okay because you're going to get heals. And with the Grail mechanic in place, what you're going to do is you're going to be healing every turn anyway, and so it's not really going to be a big issue. My phone's lagging a little bit, so my match speed is going to be slowed down as well. But the goal here is we're going to try to get our a number up to 20. Because that's the max number of stacks. And as soon as you get to 20, then you have to go for 4 turns for it to then basically count down for it to expire. Once it expires is when you're going to get 20 power gems, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to do some timing attacks here. We're going to want to make sure that we actually basically get as many power gems as we can so that we don't waste the power gems that we have at our disposal. Right, and so we're at 16 right now. We just need basically one more basically activation from these 2 Korrinas, and then we'll be able to go. All right, and so let's go. And so this is going to be our last activation. We are now at 20. We are also at 200 intensity. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait. We're going to wait to activate everything. And because it only lasts for 3 turns. And now that both of them are available, we're going to go ahead and activate. We're not going to activate Korrina anymore because then it will reset Showtime. And so now what we're going to do is what you're going to see is it's going to get hit. Okay. And now what we've done is we've basically boosted our Immortal Killer cards. So we're giving it additional damage boost. And now we're going to go ahead and activate everything. Okay, so you can see that there's a 20 power gem force. We're going to activate our cards, and we're going to also activate the support cards to increase the Showtime stack. And so you can see here we are able to deal about a little over 3 trillion. So then we can keep going here with just this. Like, it's not like a huge damage dealer. Like, if you kind of pay attention, if you think about, like, compare this to like the earlier decks, like, yes, it doesn't deal as much damage, but think about it. We're using 2 support cards here. We're using four support cards with an event card. And so I think that in terms of just what you're able to provide here, it actually it isn't too bad. Like, it is a viable solution for the non-medium bosses. Like, you can use this on the small boss, and you can still do well. It does take a little bit of time, right? It does take a little bit of time, but it's a viable solution considering that you don't have anything else. Okay, what's the key here is that with this time we're not going to be able to actually we're going to be timing out. So I think I may be able to manage 8 power gem force here. So let me just see if I can just go ahead and do a quick swap here, because I think I might be able to activate it. So let's go ahead and Yeah, so 1 second, so we can still actually do this, right? So this is going to time out. We're going to get our 8 power gems, and then we're just going to activate everything and see how much damage you can do there. Okay, and so that's basically, you know, another option here. If you don't have any generation, like any power gem generations, you could still do something here. Okay, and so this is another deck idea that I had, and I'm going to show you some others as well. One of them is going to involve Moonlight Fantasy or Fantasy, because that is a card that also has the Immortal Killer bonus. So this card right here. So as I mentioned, I got this card from the I got Kindercraft from the Proving Ground store, and then I went ahead and forged the ultimate form because I had the Prince Baldir from its own event. So I actually requested for the soul, and then I forged the ultimate form. And so this is another option where if you have this, you can also play it this way. Now notice again, I have Kindercraft as the leader here, as opposed to the leader here as opposed to the one of these cards, because I want to give my entire team the 300% bonus damage instead of just 3 of them. And so with this setup, what I'm also putting in here is, like, assuming that you're a VIP, you probably got, I mean, not probably, if you were VIP, you've gotten a free copy of the ultra rare card. And so you can actually also use this setup where you have 3 ultra rares that basically will continue to give, you know, immunity every single turn. You can get immunity here, and we're gonna try now see how much damage we deal here. So 263. So our goal is to get to, I don't know, 263. If we get to 300, that would be 37 trillion. Let's see how close we get to 300. All right. So let's now talk about how we want to play this deck. And so the thing is, because every single card in here is at least 400% damage, having the Moonlight Fantasy here just basically puts the cards at an even playing ground. Okay. But they're going to, because it's boosted, it's still going to deal pretty good damage here. And the way you activate this is you want to activate the ultimate form first. You want to activate Moonlight Fantasy first, and then Kindercraft, because Kindercraft will create power gems based on the number of gems on the board. And so what you want to do is you want to destroy all the non-dark gems and then drop more as many as you could, so that you increase the total number of power gems that it could actually create. And so what I'm doing here is I'm basically just staggering all of my activation, so that we can get immunity every single turn, even though I don't really need it because I have enough health, right? So you can see me just kind of basically, what I'm going to do is I can also activate this, because what I'm doing is I'm really just going to be waiting for my intensity to get to 200. So during this time, there's no reason not to just chip down the damage either. So our goal is to get to, 300 trillion damage output total. And so let's see how close we get to that with this, right? And so let's take a look and see, Judge of All, you can't get past 24 or 23 trillion. I don't think you're getting the 2500 from the ultra rare card. So keep in mind that the 2500% boost is not damage boost, it's actually attack boost. It's a little bit confusing, but really what that means is when you are getting your calculation, when the damage is calculated, it's calculated based on the flat increase of your attack multiplied by the gem multiplier, as opposed to in Slayer, your attack is added to the whole multiplication value. And so really what's happening here is it's really an additive calculation first, and then they multiply afterwards, so then it doesn't increase as much as if you calculate all of the attack here and then do the whole multiplication. It's a little confusing, I know, but it's basically set up so that in Commanders, attack boost isn't going to be as crazy as in Slayers. All right, so now that we're at 200 intensity, I'm also going to do the following. I'm not going to activate this time. I'm actually going to wait for everything to be available. So I'm going to reset at this point, and let's see how much damage we can do in one hit when I activate all 3. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're simply just going to wait here, and we're not waiting for any passive ability, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just basically going to activate everything all at once. Not all at once. I'm going to activate the support cards and the ultra rares all in one shot. Okay, and we're going to wait until we get hit. And what's nice is we're also getting this thing where our drop rate is increased. So these cards are really helpful as well. It's just that they don't line up really well because they have 4-turn cooldown. All right, so now basically we have three sets of supercharge. Maybe it doesn't, like maybe it stacks, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but I like giving myself more opportunities, like in case it does. And we also have 300 commander intensity, and so this one deals a lot more damage. This one's about 5 trillion or so, and now we just need to be quick about it. So this is a 4-turn deck, right? So we need to do this every 4 turns, and so what we need to do is we need to wait for we basically need to wait for Kindercraft and also Moonlight Fantasy to be available. But what we can do is we could actually go ahead and activate the cards anyway, because it lasts for 3 turns. We just have to make sure that we don't time it so that we just want to make sure we don't make it so that it runs out when we activate everything. All right. And the benefit of activating everything when the stacks of overcharge is available is that all of our cards are getting the damage boost. So we're basically increasing the damage as much as we could. And so let's go ahead and activate here. And we want to make sure that when we do a power gem swap, we're also swapping with the ultimate form, ultimate gem, so that we can deal more damage there. Okay, so this one 3 trillion, 2.6. Basically, I think this one may actually be pushing it, but let's see. So this one's going to be 1, 2, 3. So yeah, so the next time I'm gonna have to wait 1 turn before I go ahead and activate, and so that way we don't run into the situation where Fantasy and Kindercraft is not ready yet and our supercharge runs out. But this one is going to be available when the Chevron's numbers go down to 1. So we're gonna wait 1 more turn here before it's available, and then we're gonna activate, and then after we activate everything and do the match, we're gonna wait 1 turn. So you just have to always keep in mind of like how many turns a card has a cooldown for. And so we're gonna go ahead and activate here, and then we're gonna wait 1 turn before we activate the power, the ultra rare card and the support card. I think we have enough to do 1 more attack, right? I think I have enough time to do 1 more attack here. So we're gonna go ahead and do a quick swap, and then we're gonna activate everything. And then basically 3 turns later, we're gonna be able to do 1 last attack here. So let's see how we do afterwards. So our goal was to hit basically 300,000 in our damage. I think we got there. I can't be sure, but it looks like we should be there. So we need one more match here, and then we'll be good to go. So let's make sure we do this fast. The lag, though, kind of makes it a little bit harder because my timing gets thrown off, and so that's why I'm losing a lot of time in my matches. And the reason is because like right now I'm displaying this on the screen, and so my phone gets hotter. Oh, I don't think I actually did the match I needed to. So my phone gets hot, and because it gets heated up, then it slows down. All right, so we did actually manage to we incorporated the ultimate gem anyways, and that was 2.4, 1.4 to 1.2 is about 5 trillion. And so let's see how much damage we did total with that setup. So very close. We got almost 300 trillion. And so basically, like, these are some of the setups that I wanted to show that are viable even if you don't have the full ultimate form, because ultimately it comes down to the damage boost that you're getting from your cards. If you're using support card, the trick is basically getting to 200 intensity, which just requires you to do a lot of matches. And it's actually kind of nice when you're going up against a medium boss that you can simply use the shields to stop the time for you. So just take a minute here and take a look at the chats here. Mount Fillmore, how long has the game's animation been lagging for me? It actually, like, I get lags when it gets really heated up, and it gets heated up mostly when I'm doing a stream and when I'm charging at the same time. If I'm charging while I'm playing, then sometimes it gets heated up, and then I basically just go and cool it down, and then it's okay. But when it lags, it really does impact my ability to play smoothly, because like it's the timing. Like for me, I have very specific timing that I have gotten down for when I'm going to swap and when I'm going to make the changes. And when it slows down even just by a little bit, it throws my muscle memory off a little bit. And so that's why I end up doing worse on streams than I do. So like I said, I was able to get about four close to 500 trillion with my initial setup, and I couldn't get that much this time. So let's see, Judge Vault, how can you get 500% overkill? Yeah, I think in the beginning of the stream, what I said is I don't think it's possible. At least I don't think I can. Not with a single star. I don't think it's possible. What I'm gonna do is I'm running a little bit low on keys, so I'm gonna go ahead and basically loot a few, and then we're gonna go back to a couple of other deck ideas that I have as well. So really, like in some cases, the what's the one, where am I looking for? The VIP in some cases really is the Freedom Fighters card. For being a Slayers card, it does really well. Okay, it does actually really, really well. So I think that is basically, that covers most of the decks I wanted to cover. So there's this one, and then I showcased, I guess the other thing I wanted to try was, putting, I think I did this, right? I did this one where it was a support card, ultra rare card. Yeah, I showed this one already. The ultimate form and the master collection card. And then with this was the deck that I used that got me there. And I think actually this one was a little different. This one, if you notice, I actually have only one Slayer relic rather than two. So I'm still kind of playing to see what worked best, but I know that for me, putting in the Almar's Scythe really helps because of the heal. And what's really nice here is everything is immortal killer, so I don't need to worry about this, and the Freedom Fighters automatically get the boost. So this one actually really, really, really good as well. So I highly recommend using this card if you have it. If you don't, you can use Bio Blitzer. It does similar, it does a similar thing. It also damages for, it hits for 5 times its own damage, and so you're getting free attack every time using this card, and it has a 2-turn cooldown, so it plays really well with this deck. Like you can always use it. So I showed this deck as well. And, I think this is actually a little bit better if you use this. I can't tell what would work better, whether it's going to be this one or not. But then here's another option. It's like you can also use the event cards. So like if you don't have anything else, just a simple, ultimate form, ultra rare support card, event card, right? I would just add, for the 5th card, I would just add another support. In case that the damage does stack, I think that it's worth it to just put it in anyway. And if nothing else, you're getting the immunity boost, and you're getting a nice boost from your card. However, the other option that you might want to consider instead of all of that is, so I put in the Moonlight Fantasy. Not many people will potentially have that card, but if you got the Kindercraft as a card, you should definitely put it in. You should definitely put in the Kindercraft in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in the other cards in here, right? So if you got this, so if you got like a base setup, for example, right? So here is the ultimate form. Here is ultra rare card, support card. And you can choose, like this one is more of a, in between for me. Like I don't think it's actually that necessary for you to use this, but this card actually works better with Kindercraft. So let's talk about this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this deck now. So basically, what I want to show you is if you use Kindercraft has a dependency on the number of gems on the board, and so what you get is with 2 support cards with Ultimate Form and a Master Collection card, you should be covered. But let's say you have this card. This will also give you a passive gem spawn, so you're getting additional power gems that will really help as well. And so let's take a look and let's make sure that we switch this out. So I'm going to switch this out for a shiny, and let's go ahead and play this out and see how this works, shall we? So now we are at just about 297. So let's see how much damage we can do. So this is going to be the last deck I'm going to show for today. It really is just kind of showcasing, like, use the cards that you get, right? So this is this card on the right, the Kindercraft, that is a collection card. So if you got the collection card, Kindercraft, it actually is a very good card. Like, I wouldn't despair. It's actually a really, really good Generation 3 card that gives you gives you a nice damage, output, and it gives you a nice set of power gems. So this is a card that I wouldn't mind getting at all. I happened to get the other card. I forgot the name already. That was the event card from the one of the events from before. But that was what I needed to get a shiny. So I was pretty happy about that. All right, so let's go ahead and activate everything here, and you can sort of see, like, I don't technically need all this. Like, everything is power gem 4 at this point, and so if you didn't So let's say if you had the ultimate form and you had the Master Collection card, I would actually say you don't actually need it. You could probably put in a support card and get the additional, you can get the additional immunity and potentially damage output as well. You can just sort of see like how much damage we can do just with this setup, and without the event card, I don't think we're losing on too much of it. All right, and so again, we're going to be activating our passive. So like the really nice thing about this deck is overall it just has this nice rhythm about it. You can go really fast if you can get, every 2 turns. So let's see how much damage we do this time. So like, average of like basically average of 3 trillion per card, so 15 trillion every 3 turns. And so if you sustain it, that's 150 trillion damage if you can simply keep it up for 10 turns or 10 attacks. It's a good deck, right? It works well. Now, it works well in the case in the sense that you could, in a sustained long fight like this, if you can stay alive, if you can go fast, then this works well. This is not the type of deck though that gives you that burst damage where you get just this insane attack in a single shot. And that's basically what Ultra Kill Boss is all about. Ultra Kill Bosses is all about getting that instant like one shot type damage that requires a ton of damage burst. So the Santa deck, for example, where you have unlimited damage boost, yeah, it's suited for that because over time you could really get a ton of damage output with that deck, but not this type of deck. Like this is not the type of deck that gives you that a single shot, but over time, like this deck will give you the immunity, it gives you the heal, and it gives you the power gems. It gives you the sustained, speed. Like every 3 turns you can do, really good damage, and so not the kind of deck that gives you the overkill. So like personally, I wouldn't be too stressed about it, to be honest. I think that if you have the deck already, and if you're using 3 keys, then you want to aim for 300% if you can, because if you aren't getting at least 300%, then you're actually losing keys to your trophy ratio. So if you're getting 200% with 9 keys, but you're able to defeat the boss, then what I would say is you should just use the 3 keys to take out the boss, because if you think about it, you have to go with first you have to kill it for the first set of rewards, then you have to get 200% overkill in order to get the next tier of rewards, and that basically will double your score, right? Which you could get if you used 6 keys over 2 attacks, right? So over 2 attacks, you could basically get that amount of damage. Now, you could also argue that, well, it's going to cost you more overkill keys, but with overkill, you should be able to do a lot better, right? And so I think it's just kind of like a key efficiency type thing to the trophies. I don't think it's necessarily worth it to spend 9 for 200%. If you can get 300%, then you should definitely go for it. But if you can't get 300%, then maybe consider using 3 keys. So we were at 297, and so we were able to get about 100 trillion with that setup. And again, this is just kind of, not playing optimally and not playing efficiently, but still we were able to basically put in 100 trillion. And this is a guild boss, right? And it's a guild medium boss, so the expectation is other people are going to be able to jump in and help out. And so, if everybody can put in 50 to 100 trillion with a similar type setup, it takes only a few hits, and it takes a few members from the 6 members together to take this boss down at level 287. So it's a lot easier than before because the deck was just not as obtainable. But even with the difference in this particular deck is that all the cards are useful, including the collection rewards, right? If you get Kindercraft, that's an awesome card to use. If you have Freedom Fighter, throw it in there. It's amazing. The event card, if you don't have anything else, gives you that additional power gems, right? And just everything is useful. And then the support card gives you the damage boost once it hits 200 intensity, which you're definitely going to hit anyway, because you're going to be doing this over time. And so for me, this is a really good deck that you can mix with other cards. You just have to be very careful about who's the leader. All right. So just to summarize again, if you're using a mixed deck, then I would recommend putting the Generation 3 card as a leader, so that you're giving the 300% damage boost to everything, all the other cards, as opposed to swapping it. You're basically losing out on 2/3 or two fifths or 1/5 of your overall damage. So that would be my recommendation. And I think with if you're putting in Freedom Fighter, I think putting in that one Slayer relic to boost itself might not be a bad idea, because you do want to give it a nice damage boost. But even without, I think you should be okay, because the event relic will actually boost Freedom Fighter. And so there's a little bit of trade-off here, but I think that it could be okay to just do that one. All right. So let's take a look and see how we're doing in the chat here. So Midnight Lee, this deck is cool, but you don't have enough diamonds and luck to have it. That's unfortunate, but as I hopefully have been able to show, you should be able to get at least 2 support cards. So again, my recommendation for everybody here is to go 2 tiers of the current vault and then 2 tiers of the previous vault. So that's what I did. I basically went to the previous vault for two tiers. I actually got a relic on tier 1, so that's pretty cool. So that gives you at least 12 coins. You want to also build up your coins. Right now the first 2 tiers for 6 coins, that is really good deal. And this way you can save up another 42 coins so that you can get a good deck next time. I'm imagining probably the Earth deck might have something similar, right? Earth Commander deck. Like I expect this kind of mechanic to probably show up again, because that's the remaining one that doesn't have it. And so if you don't have it this event, hopefully there are still other cards that you can consider and use to help. Okay. Westville is 40 degrees Celsius there. That is really hot. Mutpick 32. I did see the Guild versus Guild video, so I gave out a challenge last stream. If you have videos of you taking on my defense, feel free to send it to me. So I appreciate seeing that. Amal, right now your current deck, event 2 support card, 1 main event card, Mistress of Mayhem, and Kindercraft Horse-Drawn. Yeah, so basically like use Kindercraft to last. You always want to use him last. That's always that's the card that you always use last. All right, like you don't ever use it before you activate everything. And with that setup, you should still be able to do okay. Take advantage of the shield so that you can match faster. Like this deck, and honestly, like this whole like setup with the shields that block the board actually is a good thing for us, because it forces us to go faster. And this is really where I find if I'm not grinding for bosses, I'm just looking to get a lot of damage output. It's actually kind of fun to be able to like build up something and then go as fast as possible to deal as much damage as I could. I mean, it doesn't do well with like the solo bosses that have really high health. So my recommendation for everyone here, if you're currently playing, if you're thinking about what you should do, solo bosses, just focus on the small bosses. I'm actually going to attack this secret. Just focus on the small bosses. Don't use your keys on the medium bosses if you can't deal that much damage, because you're just going to waste the keys on it. Arguably, we're getting tons and tons of map keys now anyway, so you should be okay. So it's your judgment, but I kind of feel that a better approach is simply just focus on the overkill and ultra kill bosses. And if you can't take out the ultra kill boss at 300, 400, 500 %, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Westville, you spent 4 hours with different combos. So you're confident making the call at 500% with 1 or 2 stars is not possible. So yeah, that's why I figure as well. So let's see. It's better if you have 2 ultra rare cards, but you don't really need 2 ultra rare cards. Like it's not like the previous K-pop deck where not having the second ultra rare card makes a big difference. Because of the reduced cooldown, a single ultra rare card is going to be good enough for this entire deck. All right. And Aaron Delgado, I think what I'll do is I'll take a look offline. And, so you got 4 ultra rare card master collection card, but you're just getting 200% off. Yeah, so I ultra rare card, like I said, I'm not going to bother with it because based on the feedback from everybody else, it's just not something that, like I said, this is not the type of deck that gives you that burst damage. So Westwolf, what are your thoughts on the Shroud bosses so far? I think that it's no different than a secret boss. I haven't really seen the difference, so I'm not sure. It's just a boss with ages, right? So it doesn't really feel very different. It just feels like another secret boss that's spawned differently, I guess. Amal Singha, can you use ultimate form of Mistress of Mayhem, Kindercraft along with 2 support? Yeah, you can use anything really. Like there's not the anything that gives you a lot of the power gems, you should go ahead and use, because that's going to give you the damage. But if you have ultra rare, use that because that's going to give you a damage boost. If you have an and if you don't have an ultra rare card, consider putting in support cards, because as you can see, it gives you that damage boost once you hit 200 intensity. So you should take advantage of that. All right. And does relic order matter if you have multiples from this deck? I don't think it does, but as a general rule of thumb, I try to put the ultimate relic at the leftmost anyway. I think what happens is they do activate their skills from left to right in terms of relics. So it used to order if you had different affinity. So like if I were to put in another immortal relic that is a different affinity, then you want to put the one that's off affinity to the leftmost. That's the only time that order matters. Aside from that, I think I put ultimate relic, and the far left, and everything else I just kind of group them so that it saves time. Like if you were to swap the relics like this, for example, if you were to swap it like so it's staggered, you're actually going to end up wasting a little bit of time when they activate because it's going to go one after another. But if you group them, it just kind of goes a little bit faster. All right. And so let's see. They're going to take the shields away. I don't think so. I think it's here to stay. And jump, it's not better with 2 ultra rare. So far I've noticed that with 1 ultra rare and 2 support cards, it works well. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but like I said, 2 ultra rare cards, not as important, not as necessary in this particular event deck. And so, Rock, do you think I made too many ultimate forms? So you think you have too many ultimate forms? That's not, maybe having too many ultimate forms is not useful. Like, so Rock D, at the end of the day, it's about the cards that you have at your disposal for the event card. The preference should be event deck first because you have the highest multiplier for commander, right? And if you can't fill a full team or you're lacking the power gem, then you should look to fill in 1 ultimate form. And it's true, like just having all ultimate forms may not be the best, so you just kind of play around. But my recommendation is at most, put in 2 of the other ultimate forms from generation 3. But you want to keep the multiplier from your commander gems because that's going to give you a lot of damage boost. The more you lose in terms of the commander gem, the lower your damage output is going to be. Okay, and so let's see. So the videos have helped you understand the game and the cards better. So thank you very much. That is sort of the goal here. And Angel 111, did they ever fix the revive relic needing to be slotted on the left? I think they did. I don't think it matters anymore, but just to be safe, I always put it on the left anyway. All right. And so just to recap, I'm going to sign off at this point. I just want to make sure that we kind of go over the decks here again. So, I think that the best is to use all event deck if you can. Throwing in a card like Freedom Fighters is going to actually give you a lot of damage burst as well because of the 5-time damage bonus, and throwing in a support card in the deck actually works out well. Like it's not true that the support card has no place in this deck. I actually think there is, as you can see that I am actually using this over an event card. All right. And also if you have Kindercraft, this card is also really good because of its ability to spawn a lot of power gems. And so this is going to be a good card to keep in your arsenal regardless for any dark commander decks. And so let's see, Mount Fillmore, you got a dual ticket out of the Legend Dragon chest. So that's a good segue into my into what I'm going to end with. I will be also streaming on Twitch later tonight, probably around 9 or so. I'm going to type in the link here below. So if anybody is interested, you can come check me out here. So I stream non-legendary related content on Twitch. And then I focus all of my YouTube content for Legendary Game of Heroes. So this way it gives people who are subscribers like less things to have to deal with. Although I do upload some highlight videos from Twitch. Okay, and so that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you very much, guys. I'm not going to be doing the thing where I go to different people and help out for today, but feel free to reach out to me and I will give suggestions as I can. All right, so have a good night, guys, and I will probably be back on in 6 minutes at 9 p.m. I plan to be on Twitch, and so I'll see you there. All right, guys, take care. Have a good night.